Hello viewers, how are you all, my dear students? I hope all of you are fine. So after a gap of 2 to 3 weeks, again I come in front of you with one new video based on your AECC 1 environment study and disaster management. So prior to this video, I have already covered up to 3 units, and we were continuing unit 4, in which we have discussed about up to 10 classes, and we are now continuing in unit 4. After 6 to 7 classes, your unit 4 class will be completed, means your entire syllabus will be covered. Okay, so as there was some personal works and your exam was also going on in our college, for which I was so busy. That's why I could not make video. For that I first like to beg sorry in front of you all. So from today, we will again continue our classes. So today my class is for English medium students, and after this I will also continue for Odia medium students. And as you all know that this is this channel which name is Environ World for Students by Dr. Sudha. Okay, and AECC 1 Environment Study and Disaster Management and also Environment Science Honors syllabus will be discussed in this channel. Okay, before going to our discussion, at first I would like to request you all to please subscribe my channel, those who are new to my channel, and also those who are already visited my channel previously, but till yet you have not subscribed, so please subscribe my channel so that I will get motivation. Okay, so today this is our 11th number of class, in which we will discuss about incubation period. What do we mean by incubation period? As you all know that it is one compulsory paper, and almost in every college your first semester the internal examination is over in your college, in which you have appeared the question of 20 marks. Okay, and again one main exam will come very soon, in which you will appear the exam of your university exam, in which you have to face 80 marks of question. Okay, for that again we will learn our lessons one after another. Okay, and you will get everything in this single channel already. Excuse me. Already I have shared your previous year question papers, your question pattern, syllabus, everything, and serially also I have made different playlist for unit 1, unit 2, unit 3 and unit 4. If you are new to my channel, you can watch my recorded videos. Okay, and question pattern is also there. So without any further delay, let us discuss what is incubation period. So my dear students, as you all know that incubation period means what? Suppose you are in one place where there is a person having infected with common cold or your fever or COVID-19, any type of communicable disease. Okay, so when 3 to 4 members are there surrounding that person, then according to your immunity power, okay, you will be susceptible, means you will be very much um, means prone to receive the viruses. Okay, you know we have airborne viruses for which common cold, COVID-19, these are spreading from one person to another person. So suppose right now, means on the date of 31st March, I have been come in contact with one infected person, and I come back to my own home, and that infected person is also returned to his or her home. Okay, so do you think that the symptoms will appear suddenly after you come back to your home? No, it takes few days or few hours to uh, show the symptoms. Okay, in between these periods of your exposure to that particular virus up to the your showing of symptoms, this period is known as incubation period. In this incubation period, the virus or the germ that prepared itself, okay, how it will show its symptom. This particular period is known as your incubation period. It is one medical related term. Okay, you all have acquainted with this term during the COVID pandemic period in newspaper, in your news channels. Okay, isn't it? So I hope so that you all have heard this word. So the time from a person's first exposure to a disease to the time when symptoms develop, this period is known as your what? Your incubation period. Am I right? Okay. So now let us see exact definition. So incubation period, it is also known as the latent period, or we can also call it as latency period. What is that latency period? So it is the time elapsed. Okay, so latent period or latency period or incubation period is the time elapsed, means times taken between exposure to a pathogenic organism. Pathogenic means that organism which have the potential to cause disease. Okay, disease causing. So pathogenic organism, a chemical, that may be any type of radiation, and when symptoms and signs are fast apparent, that time interval is known as incubation period. So in a typical infectious disease, okay, infectious disease means that disease may have the capacity to transfer from one person to another healthy person. Okay, so the infectious disease and the incubation period signifies the period taken by the multiplying organism to reach a threshold necessary to produce symptoms in the host. So who is the host here? So suppose virus come to your body. Here you are the host, means inside which the virus protects itself or themselves. Okay. Then threshold, what do you mean by threshold? Threshold means suppose you will pour water in a glass. So the glass has some capacity to accommodate the water. So when you will pour more and more water, that will overflow and will come to the floor, isn't it? That is known as the threshold, means the extreme boundary. Okay, so while latent or latency period may be synonymous, so a distinction is sometimes made whereby the latent period is defined as the time from infection to infectiousness. Okay, so now let us see the incubation period is the number of days. If we will analyze it simply, it tells us that the incubation period is the number of days between when you are infected with something and when you might see symptoms. This is the simplest definition of incubation period. So healthcare professionals and government officials use this number of to decide how long people need to stay away from others during an outbreak, that is COVID pandemic. Okay, so it's different for every condition. In incubation period, what happens? It is the time between a person contracting a virus and their symptoms starting to show. For example, let us let us take one example so that you can understand it in one easy way, okay, or easily. So for example, you can see here the incubation period of chickenpox is 14 to 16 days. The incubation period for coronavirus is between 2 and 14 days from the time of exposure. In a typical infectious disease, the incubation period signifies the period taken by the multiplying organism to reach a threshold necessary to produce symptoms in the host. So you know that when you are affected by some types of germs, it multiply inside your body. Okay. In some diseases, what happens? The incubation period, or that we call as latency period, is longer than the incubation period. Okay. And after the latency period, the infected person can transmit the disease without signs of any symptom, such as infection is called as subclinical infection. Okay. So the incubation period, or we can say as incubation phase of a pathogen, is an essential parameter in disease epidemiology, as it reflects the efficiency of the control measures in controlling the infection. Okay, so it also helps to map out the strategies to control the spread of infection. Any pathogenic disease development undergoes 4 stages of infection. Okay, so you can take the example of any disease. Okay, that those are pathogenic, means it can transfer from one person or infected person to healthy person. That has total 4 phases. What are these phases? Phase 1, that is your incubation period of infection. This is the stage 1 on which we are discussing. Okay, then stage 2 is the prodromal period of infection. Then stage 3 is your acute period of infection. Then stage 4 is your convalescence period. Okay, as per the time, different stages of infection can be defined, and these stages are characteristic of an epidemiology infectious disease. So the infection in the body is initiated by the entry of the pathogen. So the first step of the infection in the body is, first the pathogen will enter into your body, which is defined as exposure. Okay, for this it was prohibited during COVID-19 period to go to the areas or crowded areas, because we will be exposed to any type of infected person. Okay, so after the exposure, the pathogen will get transferred to the organ or tissue in the body where the conditions for its survival are optimum, and it can multiply to establish. Okay, then a transmission, how it takes place: infectious period, then latent period, then infection, then clinical disease, then incubation period, then transmission, first patient. Okay, then again latent period, infection, then clinical disease, incubation period. Okay, in this way your number of patient increases in a chain process. Okay, so incubation period are of two types. One is your intrinsic and extrinsic incubation period. So the term intrinsic and excuse, excuse me, I am actually suffering from severe cold infection. That's why also I take rest. But I think that I should make at least one video, because there is a large gap, long gap of 3 weeks, that I have not made any single video. Okay. So the intrinsic incubation period is your that is the duration between pathogen exposure and the appearance of symptoms of the disease in the definitive host. Okay. So the extrinsic incubation period is the duration required for the complete development of the pathogen in the intermediate host. For example, it takes 28 days for the malaria parasites gametocyte stage to develop into the sporozoite stage in the mosquito body. Okay. Hence 28 days is the extrinsic incubation period of the malaria parasite. Okay. So the extrinsic incubation period of the malaria parasite is also known as sporogony, which is the duration between ingestion of gametocyte stage via infected blood, then meal to the stage where sporozoite stages reaches the salivary gland of the mosquito, making it capable of transmitting the infection. Okay. Then the extrinsic incubation period in malaria is affected by various factors like temperature. Means there are different factors are responsible for extrinsic incubation period, out of which your temperature, genetic diversity of the parasites and vector, biotic and abiotic factors are very much responsible. Thus, the incubation period of malaria ranges from 7 to 30 days. Okay. So, the intrinsic and extrinsic incubation period can be understood with the help of diagrammatic incubation of infectious or infection cycle of Zika virus. Okay, you have heard about the Zika virus. So, look here. This phase shows your extrinsic incubation. This shows your intrinsic incubation. So, first phase of infection is your intrinsic incubation. So, the virus disseminates from inoculation site to the your bloodstream. That occurs in 4 to 5 days. Okay. So, look here. Here, due to the attack of your mosquito, the your it is one healthy human in first stage. So mosquito comes and bite this healthy person. So after 4 to 5 days, this is known as intrinsic incubation, in which the virus starts to multiply inside the body and start to show its symptoms. Okay, that is, it is known as your viremic human. So then after 8 to 12 days, that comes your extrinsic incubation. The virus disseminates inside the vector till reaching saliva. Okay, and that takes 8 to 12 days. Okay, so I think this picture may clear your vision, your understanding. Okay, what do you mean by intrinsic incubation and extrinsic incubation? Okay, so the incubation period of a pathogen is dependent upon a number of factors that includes duration of exposure to the pathogen, then amount of dose of the pathogen on exposure, then route of entry of the pathogen vulnerability, or then predisposition of the host to the pathogen. Okay, then rate of the multiplication of pathogen in the host. Okay, then host defense system. Okay. So see my cat, he is also learning. Okay, so then rate of the multiplication of pathogen in the host, then host defense system. Okay, so the answer to the question, what is the average incubation period for a virus, is pretty dramatic as the virus incubation period may vary from 1 day to several years. Some of the examples, if I will give you, then your understanding will be clear. Okay. So, some of the example of the viral incubation period of pathogens are: incubation period of COVID-19 is 5 to 6 days, for which there was an isolation okay process, so that we can break the COVID pandemic. Okay. Then Delta variant incubation period is 2 to 3 days. Chickenpox incubation period is 2 to 3 weeks. Then single incubation period is 7 to 10 days. Then flu incubation period is 2 days. Common cold incubation period is 1 to 2 days. Means after this period, the virus that comes to show its symptoms. Okay. Then HIV incubation period is around 4 weeks or 1 month. Rabies incubation period is few days to a year. Um, you can give these examples. Okay, in your examination, if question comes that what do you mean by incubation period, and give some examples. Okay. So respiratory virus or RSV incubation period 2 to 8 days. Then salmonella incubation is 12 to 72 hours. Cough or croup incubation period is 2 to 5 days. Stomach flu incubation period is 24 to 48 hours. Okay. E. coli incubation period is 3 to 4 days. Then mumps incubation period is 16 to 18 days. Then pink eye incubation period is 24 to 72 hours. Then tetanus incubation period is 3 to 21 days. Then Ebola incubation period is 2 to 21 days. You just remember all these things and just give the example in your okay answer script. So pneumonia incubation period is 2 to 5 days. Then your rotavirus incubation period is 2 days. Then scabies incubation period 4 to 8 weeks. Okay. So now I think that you got one common idea regarding what do we mean by incubation period with some examples. Okay. So these were all for today's discussion regarding incubation period. I hope you find this class interesting along with my little cut. Okay. So now we will regularly meet with each other with some new videos. In my next class, I plan whether if it is possible I will make one video for Odia medium students. Otherwise, I will again do another video for English medium students. When all the unit will be covered, then I will bring some questions, okay, and it's along with its answers, how to write its answers in your examination, main examination, that is your university examination. Okay, so for today these are all, and bye, take care. And before leaving the channel, I would again like to request you all, those who have not subscribe my channel yet, so please subscribe and share among your friends so that all can be benefited. Okay, so thank you all, thank you for watching.